This is a Food as Medicine and Clinical Care congressional briefing. Who are we? So the Healthcare and Nutrition Council, we represent manufacturers of enteral nutrition formula and oral nutrition supplements, or ONS, including those categorized as medical foods and parenteral nutrition. We want to say a special thank you today to our representatives that are here to do some welcoming remarks, Dr. Greg Murphy and Dr. Kim Schreier.
In my operative world, we always, if there is time, to try to change somebody's nutritional status, because when you go into surgery, it is a catabolic state. It is something that is a damage to you, is a danger to you, and being in the best nutritional status possible is critical for a good surgical outcome. I do a lot of oncology work, a lot of big surgical cases where there is a huge catabolic response to people.
Isn't it good to see Democratic and Republican doctors working together on common topics? When we talk about medically necessary nutrition supplements, I go straight to my patient with PKU and who pays for that supplement for the rest of her life. I go straight to those patients with glycogen storage disease. I just think about what you're advocating for, that these foods truly are medicines, and they're life-saving, and they should be treated that way by insurance companies as a medicine.
Specialized nutrition products, they differ from conventional foods. They could be used every day, it depends on the person, and they do have different labeling and regulatory requirements that we're going to be talking about today. They're also handled differently in insurance plans or with the food assistance programs. The most important thing today, the Food as Medicine initiative and bills that are out there, we would love them to recognize the spectrum of nutrition needs and people who use these kinds of products. Not everyone can eat conventional foods, and so we want to recognize the voices of these patients when we think about the Food as Medicine conversation.
Food for special dietary use can be sold in conventional stores. They might not be used under the supervision of a physician. They could be used in hospital settings as well, but there's really a broader kind of scope of use there. And the reason this is important is because aside from these two categories, foods shouldn't be intended for people with disease or condition. So when thinking about foods that really are intended for use kind of as medicine and kind of in that space, we want to think about these two categories and think about how products can fit within these two categories so that FDA allows them to be marketed, so that they can potentially get reimbursement, so that there can be innovation, they can be studied, et cetera.
About 50% nowadays of our children actually never see the bacon, eggs, and whipping cream and avocados. They are formula fed only. They're either infants or patients with gastrostomy tubes. And in the last 20 years, there's been an explosion of ketogenic diet formulas in multiple different languages and countries that can be used by these families to supplement their diet or in many cases be the sole source of their nutrition.
And nothing helped me gain the weight, not until pediatricians recommended oral supplemental nutrition. For kids with Crohn's disease like me, eating can be very painful. I could never get through a full meal, and I remember crying in pain when I tried to do so. But these oral nutrition shakes were much gentler on my stomach and tolerable.
Folks with HCU cannot live long, healthy lives without these medical foods and formulas. There's no other option for us. And then I think the only other thing I would say is the conversation about the terminology and the definitions of these, specific words, like
Today,
this stuff
hopefully, this helps capture our food as medicine in clinical care conversation, recognizing there are specialized nutrition products that are not conventional foods and why they should fit into the food as medicine conversation. So in conclusion, we do want you to go back to congressional offices. Please protect patient access to medical foods and oral nutrition supplements. Recognize the important role of these products in the food as medicine conversation.